You're listening to Oilersnation Radio, presented by the Nation Network. Subscribe for free on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
If you're still subscribing to this podcast on iTunes, I'm not sure what year you live in anymore, but welcome to Oilersnation Radio.
What's wrong with iTunes?
iTunes doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I don't think it does.
Music, Apple Music.
Apple Podcasts.
Or Apple Music or
Apple Podcasts.
I'll have the listeners note that that's the second hiccup from Liam in a lead-in to a show.
Twitter X, same thing. I'm using the original.
Is Tidal available?
Oh, God.
Jay-Z's streaming platform?
I've never, ever
Must have
heard
went
of
under.
JC.
What, excuse me? Oh, you almost got me there. Whoa.
Yes, there you go. Welcome into Oilersnation Radio. No bag milk, no Tyler today. So instead we have
Kennedy
and Matthew.
Yes,
Which is
that
Waz.
is my first name.
Well, if you
Ew.
Waz isn't like Adele where he just has one name. He has two.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of the Bruce Wayne of The Office.
Mm-hmm.
Cher was just was.
He is Cher.
Apparently.
So we're going to mix things up to start the show today. I don't want to do a delicious debate yet because it's going to lead in from the game recap. So last night, the Edmonton Oilers fell 7-4 to the Tampa Bay Lightning after third period fall, is fair to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Rick, we'll start with you. What were your thoughts on last night's defeat, which ended the 8-game win streak for the Edmonton Oilers?
It is what it is. I'm not getting too upset about it. I obviously would have preferred to win, but when they were up 3-2, I thought if you get that fourth goal, you get a little cushion there. It'd be a little bit easier, but they didn't get it. It doesn't take away from what's happened in the last 2.5, 3 weeks, whatever it's been for how long the streak has been going on. You got beat by the world's best goaltender. Period. I mean, 56 shots. I think it's an Oiler record for amount of shots on goal. It is what it is. Like, I'm not losing my mind. I'm not following all the commenters who are like trying to light people on fire right now. You can't win every game. You put 55 shots on net and you lose. Well, hey, listen, you win as a team, you lose as a team. Yeah. It is what it is. You move on and you focus on Florida tomorrow.
Last night, Andre Vasilevsky made 53 saves, allowing 4 of a .930 save percentage. Dan, what did you take away from last night's Oilers defeat to the Tampa Bay Lightning?
Well, I was just on Oilers Nation every day with you, Liam, and we did break this down, and I just kind of, I feel the same way as I did an hour ago. It's one of those games where, the offense was there, the goaltending just wasn't. That's 1 in 9 that we've had that happen. I'm okay with that. I was really happy with the effort from the team from about the 10-minute mark in the first period until the third period. It was, it felt like the Oilers were a team that just were not going to be denied. They were pelting the net. They were pelting the Tampa players. It was good to see from the offense. Just didn't have it in the net last night. And that happens. Yeah.
Sometimes you're just going to run into
and some of those goals weren't on, like obviously that last goal, that wrist shot from where the blue line. Okay, that was bad, right? The one before that, I think the one where he goes to poke check a bit. That's bad luck, man. Like if Kucherov keeps that puck on his stick, then your poke check is effective. But he went for the poke check, kind of assumed, and then it just kind of snuck past him. It's bad luck.
But should he have poke checked that, or should he have tried to cover it? Because either way, you're like lunging for the puck. So maybe
preferably, I'd like to just put the shaft down and block that space because it's not coming through very hard.
Yeah.
But it's a split second decision, and you try to get the puck off his stick. It's Kucherov, man. This dude's been in the scoring title race for how long? Like, you don't want him to have the puck on his stick that close. Look what happened in the Connor McDavid goal. That puck was barely on his stick. Dude could score from anywhere. He barely touched that puck and it went upstairs. As a goaltender, you don't want that to happen. So you're going to try and be a little proactive in the situation.
I just don't want Skinner sticking his stick in there when we already had a defender in the mix. Let Skinner be the last line of defense in that position.
We watched the Chicago game. When you've got a shooter like that, look at Bedard and look how close Ekholm was there, and he got that thing off and it went straight upstairs. Yeah. You still have to be worried, even if you have him covered and you have a defenseman on him. You still have to be worried that dude can get the puck off and bar down it with like that.
I just a poke check is a losing move to me unless
No, look what
unless
happened
it's
with Brady
you
Tkachuk
one
the
v
other
one.
day. It works.
Unless it's you 1v1.
No,
That's
It
when
works, man. It works.
That's when it does work.
In this instance, it happened at last second, kind of like just miss him.
Yeah,
then Stamkos smacks one out of the air that beats him short side. A power play goal short side. Like these aren't egregious goals, but you've got one of the best scorers in the NHL all time in Stamkos, who scored them.
That's another layer of it too in Kennedy and Waz. We'll get your thoughts in a second as well. But the 3 goals, I didn't like the last 3 goals they allowed. I think they were all Stu's fault in different ways.
It was frustrating, but you understand where he's coming from.
You look at the guys who have scored them too. You get 2 from Stamkos, which was his first career 4-goal game last night. And then you get 1 from Kucherov, who's former MVP and leading the league in points. It's not like it was like a Nisimov or whatever.
And they're not goals, and they're not like Rasmus Anderson goals where they're fucking from the other blue line. These are from right in close, and you're gonna get beat by these top end players sometimes. We do it to other teams all the time.
Yeah, I think the frustrating part is you would like Skinner to make at least one of them, especially
because you're watching at the other end of the ice. This goaltender's stopping everything, which is frustrating as shit.
Yeah,
but change it and be a different team going up against us without the offense that we have. And you see the goals that Leon scores from where he scores them.
True.
As a goaltender of the other team, you're going to want to say, you can't let that in. That's a terrible angle. But he's one of the best players in the world. And at one point, you just have to accept the fact that these guys are that good.
Stuart Skinner finished with a .773 save percentage yesterday, stopping 17 of 22 shots, which ended, I think, a 7-game win streak for his impersonal self.
Yep.
But Kennedy, what was your takeaway from last night's Oilers loss?
I mean, I'm not upset. I mean, we just came out of an 8-game heater, so I'll take that. But I do think that the dogpiling on Stu is like redundant because he has done the work. He's put in the effort. He's having one bad game. He took accountability for it. People that want to, trade him or ship him off or whatever, or just comments and people just yelling online. I'm not upset at how the offense was. I think defense can be a little better, but that's just the name of the game. But I'm not worried, honestly.
Matthew?
I thought it was very ridiculous how fans on social media, it's usually Twitter, where they just wanted to ship Skinner out immediately after those first 2 goals. It was like, you're reading instantly, we need a goalie. I mean, Stuart Skinner, in my opinion, played some steady hockey over the last 8 games. Was he perfect in all those wins? No, but there were some games where he was fantastic, and that's okay. We needed to play steady hockey, and he did. And the thing is, goalies are going to have off nights. We had Andrei Vasilevsky on the other end of the ice, who's a future Hall of Famer. There's a big difference. Sure, that loss, you can admit, yeah, Skinner probably costed the Oilers in that game, but he's going to have better nights. He's going to be a great goalie for the Edmonton Oilers. Sure, the Oilers do need to maybe make a move for a goaltender who has a little bit more experience to kind of show and help Skinner out a bit more. And, the thing is, I was just looking here. The Florida Panthers last night lost 4-0 to the Vancouver Canucks. Sergei Bobrovsky, who was a phenomenal goalie last playoffs.
That was a crazy pass. Great assist.
Right? Like, Bobrovsky is noted to be a great NHL goaltender, and I think the Canucks had like under 20 shots, and he's allowed 4 goals. Is he a bad goalie?
No.
Right? Like,
people just want to point the finger at somebody and always hang a reason or something up, blame somebody. You win as a team, you lose as a team. But sometimes that's just what happens.
The thing that people are pointing at about Stuart Skinner, I brought this up to you with Liam, is this goals saved above expected and how it's not the prettiest number around Stuart Skinner. I can't think of what it is off the top of my head, but it's saying, see, this just shows that Skinner's not a good enough goalie, and that the team in front of him is actually just playing really good, which is true. That is true. But Stuart Skinner, if you look at the game against, I think, the Carolina Hurricanes, phenomenal. Against the Winnipeg Jets, he was pretty solid. Washington Capitals, he had a shutout. You still have to perform to a decent level to get those results.
And he made good saves last night, too.
Yes. I was listening to the broadcast on the radio, and I was, while I was driving home, and I'm hearing Stuart Skinner, big save, big save, big save. And unfortunately, the Tampa Bay Lightning have some of the best scorers in the league in Kucherov and Stamkos. And it's not surprised that they're scoring these goals. Does he need to be better? Yes, and he will be better.
What was the stat? It's a GSAA.
I do believe it's goals saved above expected.
Above expected.
Yes, that's the stat everyone is looking at right now with Stuart Skinner.
And the majority of the people who want to bring that up, they don't even know what the stat means. They couldn't tell you how you get to that fucking number. They just find something they want to yell about.
During this stretch at 5-on-5, Stuart Skinner has played in 8 games, had a .907 save percentage, a 2.30 goals against average, and that stat was minus 0.44. Irrelevant. It's just a stupid stat, but just to get away from the goaltending a little bit, the offense was there last night. They scored 4 goals. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Connor McDavid, Zach Hyman, and Darnell Nurse just ran into a super hot goalie at the end of the day. And I mean, throughout the stretch, the offense has been there for the Oilers, which has really been the reason why they've been able to win so many games. Tomorrow night they play Florida, and I fully expect them to be able to come out. And
they've played a lot better defensively too, though. They're not letting off all those high danger rushes that we were doing at the beginning. We're one of the best teams in handling those rushes now.
That's another point too. People were trying to argue on Oilers Nation every day. It's like, when was the last time he stole as a game? When was the last time he had to steal as a game? Like last night, sure, like you obviously, that's a bad game.
He outplayed in Winnipeg. He outplayed one of the best goaltenders in the league.
Connor Hellebuyck.
Nobody's sitting here today saying that Stuart Skinner was good yesterday. Like he was good in parts.
And he admitted that.
Overall, like he wasn't the best, but if you go back and look through that stretch that the Oilers have won 8 games in a row, he's not really had to do a lot. Like you could look at the Vegas one and be like, he allowed 2 in the third period. It's like, yes, but one of them was a tip that nobody stopped. And then yes, the one of them was probably you'd won back, but he's probably high screened a little bit too. But just going back looking, it's like, what more do you want from this guy? Like, I just don't understand the direction that fans want him to go.
Especially, let's not forget, we're talking about a player who's in his 2nd full season, right? Is it 3rd now? I'm old.
He's going in. This is his
second full season. And so in your 2nd full season, you're not as good as the best goaltender in the world. Get him out of here,
Rick. I just want to add on to that. Also, he's played under 100 games in the NHL. He's 25 years old.
Yes.
Like I was looking at some, like, let's say, I know I love going back in history, but like Dwayne Rolison, for example, he had that run when he was 37 with the Oilers. Tim Thomas didn't start peaking in the NHL until he was like 34. So
we got a long way to go.
I mean, maybe, but I'm just saying, like, being a goaltender is a volatile position. They peak at different times.
And it goes up and down.
Yes,
man.
very much so.
Carter Hart came in at 18 and he wasn't had a great start. How about Carey Price had problems early in his career too.
Remember, as an organization as well, they brought in a guy in Jack Campbell as a stopgap to make it so that Stu Skinner didn't have to take over the net right away and could naturally progress into this spot. Campbell's faltering last year really forced Skinner to step into a role that, yes, I think a lot of people recognize at the end of the season he wasn't ready for that workload, but he's going to have to be at some point here. So, I mean, you got to ride the good with the bad with a goalie, and it's not even that bad.
Yeah.
It's the people wanting to like point fingers and stuff and blame somebody for something. And I'm like,
if you're going to point fingers at the fact that you have 2 of the best offensive players in the world and we could not get that 4-2 goal.
That's the thing. They let him linger for so long.
Like, if you want to sit here and point fingers and like it's this or that, is this or that, well, there's a very good option too. 2 of the best players in the world. And we couldn't get that 2-goal lead to help our 2nd-year goaltender. Like, it's crazy, man. You win as a team, you lose as a team. Sometimes things just don't go your way. There you go. That's what last night was.
Someone who has been picking up the offense a lot more recently is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Had 3 points last night. Has 10 points in his last 5 games. Let's just give the Nuge a little bit of love and honor of Bag Milk not being here.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
He's ours forever.
Absolutely.
And
scored 100 points for a reason last year.
And it just like slides under the radar sometimes.
Yeah, it's very weird.
He really doesn't get the credit.
I'm okay with that as long as we're winning.
He only has 2 goals during that stretch, but pretty crucial goals. Like one against Chicago, he gets them on the board. Then yesterday, he gives him a fighting chance as well to keep things alive.
That pass by Bouchard was stupid.
How about the Hyman goal, which might be the easiest goal he's ever had to like score in his life, but also the most painful.
So I didn't really watch the replay on the screen, but that went off of him.
He literally stood there like a goalpost and just hit him. It was incredible.
Because he tried against that Chicago and they had a couple of them just went off him and skidded away from the goal line. There's a hockey player there for you, man. You know, take him off the face, off the elbow, stick, don't matter. Just try not to kick it.
Okay, I'm trying to do this producing thing, and also I got a ton of wires around me.
You have one.
Okay, so now I will be reading an ad for verbatim.
That's why he turned his back to us.
Concentrate.
Concentrate.
he can't be distracted.
Kennedy. Wendy's is letting you win real food for your fantasy team this year. And the Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool. For those who dream of smoking the competition like Kennedy does, Wendy's is rewarding you with weekly prizes that will have you winning despite your lack of combinations. But here's a secret to the lineup.
Can't see that I'm dying laughing behind
It's
him.
Surreptitious, Kennedy. Surreptitious.
Yum.
Like Wendy's new limited edition chicken strips and French toast sticks. Sometimes the best teammates are the ones you'd least expect. Sign up to play the Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool to win weekly prizes like chicken strips and French toast in the app.
I wish that people could see the production work that's going on to make this podcast
Liam
happen.
has a pair of headphones hanging off of his mic.
I've
seen that in the radio world. That's professional. That's I don't know what that is, but it's
As the first producer of this podcast ever, I have to just give you a round of applause. Yeah, on GarageBand, correct.
Yeah, we were starting that with
on GarageBand.
It was like a pulse start.
All of the microphones were on the same channel. We were all going off the same feed. It was a great time. So love to see it, Liam.
This is great.
As the rappers would say, he's cooking in the lab.
He's
The
cooking.
rappers or Walter White?
Well, both maybe.
Okay, now it's time for the delicious debate.
I'm going to take a picture of Liam and I'm going
Brought
to
to you by
post it.
Wendy's. So we're going to continue the goalie talk because I couldn't think of anything else to do on this show. How quickly do the Oilers need to find another goaltender to play with Stuart Skinner?
We already found him.
Kennedy, since I just spoke about you so much.
Into the Wendy. Honestly, like, I don't know. Picard did a really good job.
He's been good.
He's solid. And, he wasn't like happy feet or anything in the net. I was happy with his performance against the Devils. So, I mean, give him another chance. Give him a couple things, like couple games to try to see how he does and pairs well with Stu and stuff. So I don't know. I was on the Burlington's train there for a minute, and now I'm I want to see what we can do with what we already have within the organization.
Calvin Pickett has played 3 games for the Oilers this year, has a .917 save percentage and a 2.24 goals against average. Rick, is Calvin Pickett, I guess 2 parts, one, the delicious debate, but also is Calvin Pickett a long-term solution?
Long-term solution, no.
Well, let's say long-term is this season.
For the majority, I think. So I think you at this point, you can probably, as long as Picker keeps playing the way he is, I think you can probably just keep Campbell down in the AHL and let him do his thing over there, which, by the way, he should be playing second to Ollie, but that's another discussion.
That was second delicious debate.
The way they're playing right now, you can push back the goaltender debate or the need of a goaltender till you find the correct goalie. You don't have to be pushed into getting one right now, into forcing your hand. Now is when you sit back and you find that Ekholm type trade where you sit back and wait for the goaltender that's going to actually help this team surface, and you get them when an opportunity arises, because these two right now are fine. So I don't think Jack Campbell come up for Christmas, but I don't think you'll see Jack until the calendar flips.
I think it was Ken Holland with Tony Bra yesterday.
Correct.
Said
Till Christmas at least.
I have it right here.
After Christmas. What did he say was?
He said Edmonton is taking a week-to-week approach with goaltending in the organization, and the Oilers will stick with Skinner and Picard until at least Christmas. Which I don't know how I feel about that.
It's only 4 games though.
You don't know how you feel about that?
Yeah.
Well,
That's only 4 games. So they play Florida tomorrow, and then they go on to
3 on the road at Christmas, and then 3 or 4 back till New Year's.
I just think they need to show a little bit more trust in Picard right now. And honestly, if they're going to make a goaltending move, I believe it's going to come closer to the deadline, almost kind of like how Ekholm happened, where it just kind of happened a few days before. I don't know who that goaltender is. Some people say Marc-Andre Fleury would be an option. I don't think he'd come to Edmonton personally. Elvis Merlikins has obviously been talked about. Mackenzie Blackwood, I don't know if he'd be the ideal 1A, 1B with Stuart Skinner. He's only played 100 more NHL games than Stuart Skinner, to be honest. I was looking at that. So it's there's a few names out there, and it's just like, you got to stick with what you got right now. Just put more trust in Picard. And I don't know if Jack Campbell's really going to be improving here.
Jack Campbell in his 9 games in Bakersfield has an .894 save percentage. And in his last game, though, he did have a .941.
Okay, wipe out the first 3 because they are what it are. And he's got Manny Legacy down there working with him now. So outside those first 3, I know there was a game where they're playing. They're, here it comes again because he let up a bad goal. But
let's see here.
Outside those initial 3, how's he been?
He has a shutout, a .917, a .926, 29, sorry, and then a .886, and then an .883. Doing a little math on the fly. Then .931. By my calculations, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 divided by 6. His save percentage is 917, 918.
But Liam,
see, so that's fine. Like
that is fine.
Keep playing that right now. Stay down there. We don't need him yet. Stewart's not a fucking issue. Rest is not an issue right now. It was just a weird thing that happened last night. We need to get over it. Also, Picard's been fine.
Yes. With Picard, he also played really well against a highly offensive New Jersey Devils team, right? We also should factor that.
The Oilers played well.
Yeah, of course.
He played well. He made a big save in the third, but the Oilers.
Yeah, the Devils are a very perimeter team. And Jack Hughes, I got to watch him. He looked, this is going to sound bad. He looked very American. So when I say that, no, like if you watch national hockey, Canada, when they are at their best, they play very well as a team. The US and Russia tend to have a little more individualistic players who try and take over, kind of like you do in basketball or something like that, right? You don't play as a team as well. One guy tries to get the puck. So I saw out of Hughes there is that he didn't really use his teammates as well as, and that was just one game as well as I would have thought.
He's got a bit of attitude. How about his response the other day to the reporter?
Yeah.
He was like, you're the 6th guy who's asked me about me banging into my brother, so I'm not going to answer this after you. So, well, how's that reporter supposed to know? I don't know. People think that's honestly. I think it's kind of being a dick.
You're not wrong. He is a little bit sassy with the media throughout the season. Like he always like, I don't know. He's my brother. What do you want me to say? Or like it was that one question. He's like, no, he is my brother. Like some reporter was saying.
Yeah, that one I actually didn't mind because that felt like a joke.
It's interesting.
The other one's like, you're just being a bit of an asshole. Right?
A little level of a diva.
I feel like the league is kind of rotating around its attention spotlight. It started with Connor Bedard, and I think all the fans kind of took notice and didn't like it. And so the NHL has kind of moved the spotlight, and it's kind of focused in on the brothers right now. And most people are not liking it. Like I posted the clip of them running into each other, and the responses were like, I've already seen this 7 times, and it had just fucking happened.
Interesting.
So I think that
it's a situation though. It's like the play, if they did something really cool offensively or something like that, then you're like, oh yeah.
Well,
but like, 2 guys ran into each other. It happens all the time. To a certain extent, because like the Bedard goal against the Oilers, you saw a little fluff of interest from the sports media, but not really the next day. They weren't talking about it like we had been talking about Bedard. Like Bedard breathed on day 1, and we were covering it with in-depth coverage minute by minute.
I've never seen like the Oilers post about like another like the opposing team.
Yeah,
like their like stats or anything like that. How they did with Bedard.
Speaking on that, the Oilers typically do not post interviews on their social media from other teams, like media avails. With Bedard, they did. I was like, oh shit, okay,
just for this game, which makes sense because
that too much. He is it makes sense. He was generational, but he's that top tier rookie right now, so I don't mind it too much.
But the feedback, like I said, the feedback at the start of the season, even just the first few weeks of the Bedard stuff, was too much. Bedard mania.
It was a lot, right? I think there was a little jealousy involved because Connor didn't our Connor didn't.
For our side of things,
different.
But even the other fan bases were saying that it's too much for Connor, like for Bedard to have to try and endure and try and take on answering all these questions and all that coverage and having the cameras on him. And like, a prime example is what he did against the Oilers. Like unbelievable goal, so like a flash of brilliance. 100%. But Oiler fans, we've seen that. We've seen those flashes of brilliance from Connor McDavid during the absolute disaster that is the seasons that were around his rookie year and the year after. So, I don't know. It's the Hughes thing. It's the same issue I have with them putting the microphone in front of Ryan Reeves in Toronto every game this year. It seems like to start the season, you ask these guys over and over again to be the character guy, and we as a a fan base, hockey fans in general, are terrible about allowing these guys to have character show. And so the minute we start getting some character from the Hughes brothers, I don't like it. I think that they're diving. I don't like the way that they're playing the game, so I'm mad at them.
I should say I don't mind that Jack Hughes shows his personality.
Yeah, I don't care.
I just think he comes across as an asshole.
That's fine.
It's
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta have heroes and villains.
Of course.
A lot of people have said the same thing
Agreed.
about me, so it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah. And then I think one person who's actually got a good personality in NHL is Seth Jarvis. He did a little
Should have been an Oiler.
he did a lie detector thing with the NHL. It was actually really funny. He was really good with it. It was good. I'd check it out if you wanted.
just wait until they ask him a couple more questions, and then we'll vilify him and skewer
He's
him as
the most
well.
underrated player in the league because he plays in Carolina.
Oh,
That's fair.
Actually, sorry, he's not European. So gotta be a small market European player that puts up a point per game.
Yep.
He's from Manitoba.
That was his first
Did you
mistake.
answer Delicious Bait, Dan?
Did I answer it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, not really.
You wanna
But
answer?
I feel like I'm getting kind of tired of having to answer this question. I know it. Like it's
okay, McDavid. All right, pump the tires. Yeah. Pump the tires.
Jeez. Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
that's-
Hey, I've been
that's
asked this
Connor
like
McDavid right
7
there.
times. This is the last time I'm going to answer it.
1,000th time for Nashville, Connor Bedard.
I just think that the reality is that the Oilers we're on plan B right now. And the Pickard being plan C option has really given Holland some time to go out and find that goalie. And I think you said it. I think the Ekholm trade is a good example of something that none of us are going to expect it. And we're probably going to bring in a goalie that's not the answer, not the wrong answer, somewhere in between, and they will be spelling each other. I'm just glad that Pickard's here to kind of buy Holland that time.
I broke my arm.
It's true.
Good thing you weren't on camera for all the viewers.
Well, that's okay because
As I
I'm going
was-
to take a picture.
Arm fell
I
off.
was talking about it. Did everyone answer the debate?
Yeah.
Kennedy?
I believe so. We all had it.
Yeah, it is a bit of a lazy question. I'm not going to lie, but it's kind of all anybody's talking about today is like, we got to find out someone new.
Oh, yeah. Well,
It's funny
that's-
that's the comment.
that's
going
the
down a
thing.
little bit, but I like
I-
Rick's idea, and we all kind of spoke about it too, but like, just wait.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
They're
think
not
the
being
Oilers-
rushed anymore.
So luckily they won 8 games in a row, which really helped balance.
Don't forget, our
things out a little bit.
goaltender was in the Calder, and like
He's good
sort of
goalie.
kind of Vezina talk last year. Let
Yeah.
him find his fucking game. He's fine right now.
He's
Oilers
got
fans,
a-
we overreact.
Yes.
He's gonna have bad games.
Yeah,
But
for
let's
sure.
not forget, I pulled it up here before. I think I lost it already, but only on December 2nd, Vasilevsky allowed 6 versus Dallas when
Yeah.
Tampa Bay lost 8-1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You're gonna have bad nights, and I think it's unfair to blame Skinner for.
it is.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said this on our show today. Nobody was muttering a word the last 8 games in a row of Stuart Skinner's been bad. But all of a sudden, one thing goes bad and everyone just wants to drop the ceiling on him. It's just unfair.
And-
You
But
had a
it's
bad game.
funny because the same thing happens to the guy who wears 25. The same thing happens to the guy who wears number 2. Like it's ridiculous. They play out of their minds and everyone's quiet.
And the thing
And
is-
there's one giveaway at the blue line, and everyone's like, "Oh, you gotta throw him out with the garbage."
Skinner's performance last night. Everyone says, "Look how he's playing. You can't win a cup with that kind of performance." First of all, the playoffs aren't until what, April, May. There's things.
You definitely can't win a cup of that before.
No, definitely not. And that's in the moment right now. Of course you can't, but we don't know how Skinner's going to play in May and April. Who knows? He can turn on a switch and play out of his mind. Like goalies are voodoo, as we've seen in the playoffs, especially.
I will be reading another ad for verbatim. For a limited time offer was our listeners and you, Matthew, can get 25% off and 0 delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter code,
Nation 25.
all caps.
Almost
It's
forgot.
25% off up to a $10 value and 0 delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter code Nation25. Don't forget the code Nation25 for 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Offer valid in Canada, subject to change. Terms and conditions make a blah, blah, blah. I have a bit of a cold.
Ding
and my
dong.
mouth
It's
is
okay.
struggling to get some words
I'm
out.
I'm surprised.
doing
Terms and conditions apply.
I'm surprised
We'll
you
finish
didn't
that.
do these like with the door closed and then just like cut them in there.
Yeah.
I thought it wouldn't have been a bad idea, but of course that leads us to our main question.
Like if I
of
was
the
me,
day.
I'd be reading these at home, like mastering them. I'll be like, look, we're gonna skip these guys. I'll just put them in after. But.
Liam, I can always do it. I'm a performer.
I am
Just
I'm
AI
a man at the
voice.
moment.
I dig it.
I'm not gonna lie to any of you. I don't prep for shows very rarely.
That's
I
a
did-
lie.
I did a full live show today. And I just wrote down who scored goals. And then eventually I was like, well, got to fill up the rest of the show. Unfortunately for me, there was 35 minutes.
Yeah.
So I filled in. I think it did.
That's the beauty of being a fan of what you get to talk about on a daily, right?
Exactly. It's easy peasy.
You work in sports media.
You work in sports
Yes,
media.
And speaking of sports media, who delivered last night, Dan? Or I guess Chicago too, I suppose.
You put me on the spot. And I'm going to respond
I like it.
with my guy, Darnell Nurse. I gave him a shout out on the last show I was on, and I'm going to do it again. This team didn't have it for the first 10 minutes of the game. And there was a rush by Darnell that just seemed to have woken them up and fired them up. He came then out in the start of at the start of the second period.
But also shorthanded, by the way.
Yeah. With the abbreviated power play and put the puck in the net, and the rest was history. The offense just kind of seemed to unlock from there, and their effort was rewarded. Now I know that the goals went in on the other end and they didn't win the game, but Darnell Nurse firing it up delivered for me.
Kennedy, who delivered?
I'm gonna give it to our boy Nuge. You know, he seems to always just kind of slide in there under the radar, like generating these points. He's such a grinder, and you know, he's our boy. He has. I'm looking here. The last 5 games,
10 points.
10 points. It's crazy.
Kid
Like,
can play.
yeah, that's just it. So you know, I want to see like this continue throughout the whole season. I want him to like hit 100 if he can again. Let's go for
I
it.
think right now we paced him out at 79 points, but also he had a pretty bad start to the season.
He did, yeah.
Everybody did.
I think if he can push like 85 to 90, fine.
We're
That would be an
laughing.
unbelievable
We're
season.
laughing.
We pay the guy $5 million.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
I know.
Was delivered.
Who delivered? I would say the Oilers offense in a way did deliver
That is
last
true.
night. 57 shots. That's a franchise record to be put on a goalie. Unfortunately, they faced a wall. I mean, 57 shots. That is pretty remarkable. And I think it showed that the Oilers, even though that, you know, their goalie was struggling, they still put in a 60-minute effort. And that's something that this fan base wants to see consistently. And we're starting to see that very much under Knobloch.
I was going to give you a stat, but I got the number wrong.
That's okay.
Around 57. But I will ask you a different question.
Of course.
59 saves. What does that ring a bell about?
Ben Scrivens.
Ben Scrivens. There you go. Rick, who delivered?
Didn't LB have a big night like that too?
Well, they lost.
He had a 50 something.
Yeah, I think they lost. This is holds the NHL record for the greatest number of saves in a regular season shutout with 59.
That's impressive.
I was at soccer practice that day.
I was going to say San Jose
That was
Sharks.
when San Jose were really, really good. And sometimes I would miss my practices if the others were playing, but I thought we're going to get smoked because it was like Paddy Barlow, Pavelski.
So I don't want to watch this live. I'll catch it on SportsCenter later on.
I was like, I'll just watch it later.
That was my friend's first
And then-
NHL game.
Oh, not a bad one to go to. My first NHL game was against the Islanders at Rexall. They
Mine was
lost.
against
My first
St.
NHL
Louis.
game was the Wayne Gretzky's return to Edmonton
But
that's cool.
LA
for LA. Yeah.
That's
How
a moment
old
in
were you?
history.
I would have been, what is that? It was 80. Oh my God. What would that have been, Rick? 89.
89, 90, depending
Yeah.
on.
So yeah, I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was in 1990. So I would have been 5 or 4. Yeah.
What was your first game, Rick?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh,
Minnesota,
just been so
2009.
many.
None of you were alive. And it's not about so many, it's about how long ago.
What is the most this is off topic. What is the most memorable game you've ever been to? Oilers game.
Oh, I have
Good
an answer.
In the sense
question.
of like something that's like iconic
Crazy.
that happened in that game.
Nuge dry double hattie night, and it was the day after my birthday.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That would have been the last.
It was 2019. Yeah, March 2019.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Waz, do you have one?
Oh, can I have 2?
You can have as many as you want.
Okay,
You
so
got 20 minutes. left.
one was the Connor McDavid goal, rookie season against Columbus, where he came back from
that's a good
injury.
Oh, that's a great one.
I
Yeah.
skipped a soccer game for that because I'm like, I'm not missing this game. And then I never played for that team ever again.
Kicked you off.
I don't know. They were weird. And the other one was when we clinched a playoff spot for the first time in 10 years against the LA Kings. That was my friend's second NHL game. So he's had some memorable moments. So for me, I've been to a few memorable moments for sure. In the regular season, I've been to 3 playoff games and we've lost them all.
Our streak
Nice.
the one season 2 was like 10-0.
Yeah.
Us going to games together.
Yeah. I don't know if that was us or that was Ben Stelter at the time.
Triple overtime versus Detroit in the playoffs in 06.
Damn.
The Gretzky retirement game in 99. Dehar Nagel in overtime against San Jose in 17. Yeah, I wish.
David.
Maybe. That goal was sick.
I was like, you were at the Heritage Classic when Vinny scored his first.
I was. Yeah, that was at Heritage. Yeah, I've been to that one. I've been to all three of the Edmonton ones.
Question for you, Rick. At these games, which one got you the most buckled?
Oh Lord! I mean, at this rate, probably the Winnipeg outdoor game because of the 2-hour sun delay. There was nothing to do but drink.
True.
I heard Winnipeg has good chicken strips.
Yeah, but they
Wendy's.
closed. So
And French toast sticks.
it's not Winnipeg in general. It's Mitzi's world famous chicken fingers. Unfortunately, I believe they have gone under. So I do not think they can hold that title anymore. Wendy's now has that title.
Good plug, Liam.
Dan?
Is it Oilers game?
It could be anything.
Well, so yeah, like probably one of my most memorable memories, and it's just sad that it isn't an Oilers game, but I went to see Chicago and Anaheim playoff game in Chicago during Chicago's cup run where they lost, I think, 2 games that cup run, and I saw one of the losses.
New stadium or old stadium?
The new one at the United, the Madhouse on Madison. Man, the environment there was just unbelievable. Like, yeah, I'll never forget how much my ears rang because I was up at the top of the stadium, so all the sound was just hitting me. And then also there was an old guy that stood up in the middle of play. He had to go to the washroom, and it was like a long, drawn out play. And I've never been more afraid that a guy was going to get killed in my life than that man, because he stood up and there was some death threats uttered towards him going down and then also coming back. People remembered who he was.
Look, you got to time your bathroom breaks,
Yes,
people.
but also
there's an age category on the bottom half and the top end there. That's fine.
Yeah.
But for the most part, people, we gotta try and time our stuff.
But
last night was terrible. Yeah, it is what it is. But let's try and time those better.
For my Oilers memory, I got to go see, went with my dad to the 2014, I think it was, Hockey Day in Canada game against Ottawa in Ottawa. And we ended up playing the Senators, and Taylor Hall scored in overtime, and it was just an absolute blast. Had a great time talking to Senators fans. Some of the most fun fans you'll interact with because they just recognize that nobody in Ottawa really likes the Senators, but they are just diehard fans, the ones that are there. So an absolute blast going to a hockey game in Ottawa. Also, I've really enjoyed going to Montreal and watching the Oilers win and being an absolute jerk to everybody.
I'd love to go to a Habs game in Montreal, though.
I have 2. One of them was Game 7 against the Kings. That was awesome.
Nice.
David's goal was sick. And the other one, I went to Alice Hemsky's last game against Ottawa.
Oh, wow.
And he scored 2 goals in that game. I paid $6 for my ticket.
Wow.
And I was like, it was at Rexall, right? So I was like,
$6 for tickets and this.
$6.
Now, this was 1970s. So
I was
just
gonna say
remember.
that the guy who sits in front of me in my normal seats, he's an older dude. He likes to turn around and talk. And he said he's had season seats since 74. And he said back in then those days on Sundays, you could just like go to the arena and drop the change you have in your pocket and go in and watch.
Wow.
I was like, man, you can't even get a sandwich for that anymore.
No.
I remember I went to Disneyland one year and I was with my buddy and his dad, and we were like, what should we do? So we went to the Ducks played that night. So we went down to the Ducks. They were playing the Islanders. So like the most random.
Good Lord. They'll pay you. They'll pay you to go to that game.
They basically did. We got to the gate and my buddy's dad goes, do you have any tickets available for the night? And
Yes, we do.
Opposite guy.
They're like, hold on, there's somebody here to buy tickets, you guys.
He literally laughed. He just laughed in our face and just turned on his screen. It was just all orange. He's like, available. He's like, what do you want to say, man?
That's hilarious.
It was very, very good.
Wow.
You paid double the price. They probably would have put you on the bench.
Probably would have. Okay, what do I got to get to next? Oh, do you want to do a game preview? Let's do
Against who?
a quick game preview against Florida, I guess, is a good place to go. So tomorrow the Oilers play Florida at 8 p.m. allegedly. Probably like 8:07 unless it's
Of course.
8-12, 8-13.
Yeah. What are you expecting from the
A W.
game tomorrow?
Troubling thing for me with the Florida Panthers is that you just literally you don't know who's going to be the star that night for them. They're just
players.
They're just an offensively all around good team.
The thing about the Oilers, though, I think as long as they don't hurt themselves, there's very few teams in this league that can play with them and beat them. I expect to see what we saw in the 8 games of them just kind of dominating and doing their thing out there. I expect a W. I expect them to return to form. I mean, they did not play bad last night. A couple of bad bounces against whatever. I expect to see what we've seen in the last 11 games then. Just continue to keep going and they will win.
Florida has not scored a goal in their last 2 games and has lost 4-0 in both. They are on the 3rd of a 4-game road trip when they come into Edmonton tomorrow. Kennedy, quick thoughts on tomorrow's game.
I feel like Florida's like a scrappy team. So I'm like, don't play with your emotions. Play.
All
like,
mine.
Yeah, true. Especially with the return of Matthew Tkachuk, and I just can't stand him. So I just, play your game, play smart. Don't get into their mind games or whatever. And
I damn the Tkachuks for finding a soft spot in my heart for that family recently. Like I actually am enjoying watching Tkachuk brand of hockey now, which is wild to say. It's just
that stupid C off his chest and it's much different. I actually quite enjoy them.
Yeah. They're just like, they're not players. They're not exactly. They're not getting into the shenanigans anymore. They're getting into the shenanigans, which
Brady
I just enjoy.
Still is this thing, but Matt kind of learned that what he can do to be helpful to his team and what is a negative effect on the team. And I mean, we don't watch a lot. Obviously, they're in Florida. Nobody watches that, even the people in Florida. So I think it's a little bit different. Obviously, it's playing there as it is as playing in Calgary. But I think he's kind of figured out the balance a little bit.
What are you expecting tomorrow, Was?
I'm going to expect a lot of goals from the Oilers. Honestly, I don't know if Bobrovsky's going to start.
Probably not.
Because as I said, like against the Canucks there, I think he had like around 20 shots against and he allowed 4.
You put him back in right away, and then you let their backup go against Calgary on Monday.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, that's what the Oilers would do. But yeah, I just think a lot of goals. I think they're going to come firing out on all cylinders. And I know that's easy to say, but this Oilers team has looked like they've been playing complete hockey, in my opinion, in the last, of course, 8-10 games. So I think it'll be a great showing.
They didn't change anything last night.
No, they did not.
57
shots.
Playing their game. Just keep playing your damn game. You'll be fine. This team is very fucking good.
They are very good. Kennedy, you ready for your quote game?
yeah. Can you hit the
All right.
Bluetooth?
The Bluetooth is on, and whilst that is loading, I will read another ad verbatim. Any guesses who it could be?
Turn away from us.
Alberta Blue Cross. There's only one thing better than sharing memories, and that's making new ones. Alberta Blue Cross is a travel insurance, protects your memories and more wherever travel takes you. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/travel for more information. You can also head to nationgear.ca right now and purchase your trips for the Nation Vacation. We have 2 packages, one with a flight, one without a flight.
It's a long walk.
It is a very long walk.
Good for those guys, like maybe a bicycle, like Dallas Aiken.
That would be a nice bike.
Bicycle.
Yeah, if you're going through,
Just leave a little earlier than us.
if you're biking, I believe you'll go through Utah.
It's up
You
to
can see
you.
the Utah boys. You can see our boy Rusty. He's
So
in
true.
I think Utah is just a little city. I know it's a state.
I was like,
Just making a joke that it's small, that you can see all these people. I don't know what else is on the way down there. Maybe Arizona.
Oh, I got food.
Don't you pass through Vegas to get to Arizona?
you
Don't have to.
You could though.
You could if you
If
want.
you're making a road trip out of it. McMullet and Christopher Palmer are going to the Dallas game the night before. So that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Don't tell Christopher Palmer's wife. I don't think she knows.
We put it on our live show today. I told
well,
you.
there we go.
Never mind.
Sorry. Hopefully your wife is
Felton's coming too. Captain Felton, shout out.
Captain. Okay.
We'll see you in Zona.
The Oilers Nation Avengers are coming.
Yeah.
Which I find it like we have these characters in our community, which are
This will
awesome.
be a good one.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
I'm gonna
Do you have your pen and paper?
okay.
Oh, I should probably bring out the notepad.
Bring out the notepad. Bring out the notepad.
Is it working?
I'm gonna test it out with some video here.
Give us some Joe Bros.
Some Joe Bros. You
Hey, they're
guys try.
performing at the
Joe
Stadium
Burrow?
Series.
No,
Joe Bros. Jonas Brothers.
Oh,
the Joe Bros.
Shout out Frankie.
Shout out to Nick Jonas. Okay,
Shout out Nick Jonas.
that is my
Shout out Joe Jonas.
Joe Jonas and
Shout out
Kevin.
Tate McRae, who's doing the All-Star game.
Can't wait.
Apparently,
So
apparently.
excited.
I think before we get into this, Kenny's right. How about Donairs, hey? We posted a video yesterday, and people were not happy with Tyler and Spencer. And
That's fair, considering
So-
they deserve it.
Very valid.
I think there was a comment.
I saw Dan at a donut.
I did.
Yeah,
I went for
I was like,
Donairs
I'm
too.
pickled.
Pickles?
Pickle?
Sasquatch. Yes.
I kind of want to try that.
Basha Sasquatch
You're not gonna be
donair,
allowed
which is like a 2 pounds of meat.
He's going to cancel you right now.
It's like 2 pounds of meat. So you need a little bit more lubrication for your sandwich.
What is Basha?
So dill pickle
it's
and
like
hot
a block
peppers
and a half.
Right?
fixes
It's
everything.
Yeah, that's the one we're talking about.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I'm on 75th Street.
But there is
So what's
one
another
there.
option?
There is one on.
Are you going to be allowed back in Halifax?
Oh, absolutely, I am. They
Even
can
though
fight
you
me
ate
if
it
they
with
want
all
to.
those ingredients?
Absolutely.
You put
They can-
lettuce on there.
Man, it was delicious.
should.
I think it's
Eat
all
the
right.
veggies.
As
This,
you
yeah,
should.
this is not a shot at Basha,
Yeah.
by the way. That just because you put
Unreal.
lettuce doesn't make it bad. But lettuce does not go on it. And I'm
Yes, it
fairly
does.
certain we've spoken about this
We did.
before. And you're like
I'm
almost
different
adamant at
because-
like the no cheese too.
Because to be fair,
Wait, you're no
I don't
cheese?
think that
'Cause that's
that's a
the way they serve it in
donair.
Halifax.
Yeah, it's not a donair of the traditional sense when you have it like that. It's more of a wrap. Buddy.
So I was gonna use the
It's
a
whole
donair
hot dog
wrap.
thing for you, but yeah.
Somebody commented like, "Oh, my donair, I like chicken and lamb with avocado."
That's actually called a shawarma.
yeah, that is not
I'm
a
like,
donair.
oh, okay.
If you
Thank
have
God. I was
chicken,
gonna
it's
say,
called
is
a
that a burrito? Go ahead.
Shawarma.
Anyways, quote game's ready to go.
All right.
Take out your pens and paper.
We got the filler in there. We did it.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
job, team.
Filled the space. Yeah.
I also have to say, I
Donair,
do
dog.
enjoy when other people play along on social. So tag me if you play along. Kennedy's trash.
Kennedy's trash.
That is me. Okay.
At.
Trash takes.
Go
Kennedy's
ahead.
trash. Ready. Number one. I wish the Megalodon was a thing.
Oh.
And this is the OG crew. There's
I was
no
gonna say, is that me?
surprises.
So
There's no
The-
surprises. In
so
here.
this is Tyler, Rick, Bagged Milk, Liam, Dan.
Damn.
correct.
Megalodon. Interesting.
2. Warren Fogle got yet another breakaway and didn't score a goal.
Okay.
Number 3. You needed a guy who's generally a dick to the people below them on the food chain.
Okay.
Number 4. Has Dubas not watched The Office?
Dubas.
Yeah. Has Dubas not watched The Office was the quote. Number 5. Bleep goal whatever.
Who?
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
5 is bleep goal whatever.
You can swear on this podcast.
No,
if
this
you
is literally the quote. I would swear. This person's
want. Bleep, goal, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't. Okay.
And number 6, 1 minute you're a dump, next minute you're a golf course.
Wow.
You're a what?
Exactly what that's referencing.
You're a
1 minute
dump.
you're
A
You guys know
dump,
what
and
that's
next
referencing?
minute you're a
dump?
golf course.
You're a dumb?
Oh,
Dump. Garbage dump.
Oh.
yeah.
I know this is a
That's
reference.
referencing Rundle Park.
No.
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 Rundle Park used to be a dump and now it's golf
It's
course.
where Oilers Nation hosted the last golf
Yeah,
tournament.
it's no. It's
Good
The Woods
folks there. I like
tournament,
them a
or
lot.
golf course used to be a garbage dump when I was a kid,
Well,
when I was a young
I
lad.
actually don't know which one was me. So I will
That's great
just
for
move
me.
some things around. Can you read me number 5 again, please?
Number 5 is bleep goal whatever.
Oh boy, this is not good. Okay. I think I'm ready to lose.
Okay.
5, yeah. I know
Alrighty.
who that is.
Let's go number 1. I wish the Megalodon was a thing. Liam, who'd you put for
I said me because I didn't know what else was.
Dan?
I guess Tyler.
Bag milk.
you're all wrong. It's me.
Ah.
I
Here's
didn't.
Here's the audio.
Sure.
I did. I went to Universal Studios when I was a little kid. It
They're still
was
alive.
very exciting.
I wish the Megalodon was a thing.
Yeah.
That was Rick.
Fuck off.
Can you play that again?
I'm gonna, we have no speakers.
Joshua.
I did. I went to Universal Studios when I was a little kid. It
They're still
was
alive.
very exciting.
I wish the Megalodon was a thing.
Yeah.
I really do.
Just realized that these headphones that are on my
Big
mic
shark.
aren't working.
I thought they were just for looks.
They are there for looks.
I put them there
It's
because
for the
I was
looks. I don't like it.
playing games in here
Useless.
before. What?
All right.
Okay,
So
number
Rick.
Big fan of sharks or
Megalodon, I am.
okay.
Oh, that first show they did on Shark Week a couple of years ago, when they had to come out like the next day or a couple of days later and say, "Hey, listen, it's not really." I still firmly believe he's out there somewhere.
That's
Megalodon
terrifying.
is
I hate the
in
ocean.
Battlefield 4.
Okay.
There you go.
Number 2, Warren Fogle got yet another breakaway and didn't score a goal. Liam,
I
who'd you
said
put?
Tyler.
I said bagged milk.
Bagged milk.
That'd be
There's a quote.
Shots where a guy is looking like, oh, I'm just putting it on net. By the way,
bang.
did people go nuts when in the building when Warren Fogle got yet another breakaway and did not score?
Damn it.
We could just play that clip
Easy.
every week.
Oh, fucking
An
annoying.
easy one.
The next one's get a little tougher, but
Okay, number 3, you need a guy who's generally a dick to people below them on the food chain. Liam
Rick.
I think Kennedy went double BM here.
was.
Oh.
Who'd you put?
Dan.
Put?
I have BM. It's that market I think you need a certain type of personality in there.
You need a guy who can grow a mustache.
You need a guy who's generally a dick to the people below him on the food chain.
Well, I mean, is Tyler used to that?
That was a tie. Alrighty, number 4.
Dan.
Has Dubas not watched The Office?
Dan.
I guess Liam.
What else did you do it?
The Dan.
I've done. This whole the NHL world has done nothing besides tell everybody how good Dubas is, and Dubas has one win in the second round in how
has
long?
Has Dubas not watched The Office and seen what happened when Dwight tried to use?
I got that one.
Nice.
Guy can suck it.
Nice.
What did I reference there?
1 for 4.
What was I saying?
I don't know.
Dwight shows up and what?
Must have been watching The
It was one of the...
Cool.
All right. Well, I got one of these last 2 wrong.
Number 5, bleep goal, whatever. Liam, who'd you put?
I said BM, but I'm now thinking that was maybe me.
I guessed Rick, but I'm guessing I'm wrong.
Well,
Yeah, I'm definitely not saying Bleep.
Oh, it's definitely Liam.
I have Liam.
But that wasn't the issue. They called it off for goal interference.
But the thing, it kind of was the issue a little bit too, because the ref stood behind the net and was like, I don't know where the puck is. So wouldn't it be easy if he had like a little thing that just goes bleep, goal, whatever, calls
technology, people.
Smart. We were all thinking swears.
Yeah, so I was like, I definitely didn't say Bleep.
And he tricked us.
Crazy little.
That
right.
never happens.
2 in a row, baby.
Number 6, 1 minute you're a dump, next minute you're a golf course. Who'd you put, Liam? Lime?
Put BM.
I said Dan.
Was?
Bagged milk.
Dan.
Here's a quote.
On September 1st. Good. Excellent. What else
Used
we
to
got?
be a garbage dump. Fun fact. There you go.
That's the circle of life, Dan.
The circle. of
1 minute you're a golf. 1 minute you're a dumps. Next minute you're a golf course.
You said
I got my
it.
own wrong.
Never
You
mind.
said it.
Fair.
Anyways.
There's a lot going on.
Checkmate.
I thought it was over like 4 times.
Was number 4 Liam? Was number 4 Liam?
Yeah. Number 5 was Liam.
Oh, what was number 4? Sorry.
Was you.
Oh, okay.
Has Dubas. How we do, boys?
I got 1.
I got 3.
I only got 2 wrong. So I got 4.
Jerk.
I just try not to get shut out every week. That's my goal.
All right, there you have it. Kennedy's quote game.
That's it.
Thanks, Kennedy. Bye, Kennedy.
Are you putting together
hi,
an
Kennedy.
overall leaderboard for this?
No,
Okay.
not anymore.
We need a wiki. We need an Oilersnation Radio
go
wiki
back.
to be set up
Dude,
so
I
that
have,
our fans could help us.
If we have, if I had to guess, I think I have a bit of a lead on everybody.
Why do you think? I'm not putting the
I
list together.
guarantee I'm last.
Yeah.
I'm DFL for sure. But
Well, no one gave me Ask the Idiots questions today.
Is it because they're not here?
So that's it. See you later.
Absolute
No,
idiots.
no idiots were found in the
No
podcast
idiots in
studio.
this building today. So instead, we'll just move.
I don't know about that. I'm not the
hot and
smartest
cold
bulb in the world.
Performers.
Hot and
We'll
cold.
start
Okay.
with our vegetables, which I've never understood.
the veggies thing. Yeah, why does
why
BM
do you
say
start
that?
with your veggies?
Because they're cold.
It's an old
You get
thing.
the veggies out of the way.
Bag
then you
milk.
get to enjoy the fucking steak.
Yeah, bag milk and I and Rick are kind of a vintage where our parents used to tell us, you know, you get set down to that big meal and you don't want to have to eat your vegetables, so you might as well eat them
Brussels sprouts.
first.
Yeah, back in
and
the
then
day,
you
if
enjoy your
Veggies
meal.
are
Last.
cooked right though, then you want to eat.
Well,
your
see,
veggies.
but again, you're talking to an era of people where we were spoiled brats and we don't like healthy things.
Oh.
The Angela Anacondas of the world.
That's why cows are ruining the environment.
Okay.
That's
'Cause
why
of
I
me.
don't- That's why I don't have cows.
Yep.
Isn't it Al? Was it Al Michaels or
Yeah, it is.
Nance who doesn't eat any
Doesn't
green?
eat
Like
green.
he was
Ew.
on the day after the Thanksgiving. They had like sandwiches.
Oh,
like,
the Liver
after
King?
There was like lettuce on or something. He's like, "Oh, that's green," and push it away. Dude, like 70 something and still eating like a
I once
4-year-old.
watched Liver King eat bull testicles.
Yep. Shout
Thanks,
out
Waz.
Liver King. All right. Cold performers of the week. Dan, we'll start with you.
My cold performer of the week is going to go to the national anthems being included in sporting events. It happened again. It's going to happen. You can play this clip forever and ever at the end of every week, and it's going to be true for me. It's something that's just left over from the old game. We don't have two countries represented in this sport anymore. We are a global sport. I'm done with it. Why doesn't hockey change it up? Have each team come up with their own fight song that you sing before each game, whatever it is. Get rid of the anthems. I'm referencing the Minnesota Wild Flames.
Yeah, you got to
anthem singer.
It's the singers.
It's the singers. Of course it is. But it's the inclusion of the anthem at all that opens us up to this nonsense. Every week we have some kind of singer screw up, and I'm just tired of it. So ban the anthems. You get out of my cold performer of the week.
They are just fucking ass right now.
Brian Adams screwed up our anthem once.
It's everybody does it. It's a lot of pressure to put on one human being to stand in front of 17,000 people and remember the lyrics to a song that you've sung.
Were you not there on Sunday?
15,000 times.
Were you there on Sunday?
The young lady that
she did an incredible job.
But also
I'm putting this on the adults.
But also took a little long.
I'm gonna jump in, and I'm gonna back up Dan a little bit. But I'm just gonna say, if you're gonna sing the anthem, know the words.
Yeah,
I think I agree. I think the anthem should be eliminated. I think it should be for special events like when the national team is playing, or maybe you do it for like the Stanley Cup Finals or something, something like that. If you're gonna sing the anthem, yeah, it's okay. If like sometimes you'll mess it up, but the one that the New York Islanders did, where it was done in like a minute, and she like made her own version of it, it's like no, it's not there to be changed.
Yeah, do not change it.
To sing the lyrics and the beat of the song. So if you're gonna sing, know the words. Kennedy?
My cold performer goes with a little trauma dump because when I was in Seattle, I didn't make it onto my flight and then had to book a whole other flight to get home. And it was a whole thing. And now I'm fighting with said airline to try to get my money back. And I got a invoice refund yesterday for my trip that was $0, even though they promised me a refund. So I was livid. I could have kicked...
Call them out.
No.
Air Canada.
There you go.
That's a big fuck you.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we flew on Alaska and I thought it was a great flight.
They were great. The Alaska.
Yeah, the way back was fantastic.
They treated me quite well.
Lady that worked the microphone on the flight.
Oh, she was hilarious.
10 out of 10.
Exactly. So made it home at least, but yeah, they sent me an invoice for a refund of $0.00, and now I have to fight with them again. So bad, awful.
Offset.
Yeah.
Yes, you should be blaming it on the people that pulled you out of line.
Yep.
I forget what the thing was called, but whatever.
Matthew?
I had to go back to this, and Liam, you can probably support me in this, but it goes back to Monday when I was officially removed from a playoff spot in our fantasy football league. It was a heartbreaking moment where in the final minutes I was eliminated from playoff contention. I was backing up my talk. I thought we could do it. Unfortunately, the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday decided to put up like 3 points, which didn't really help me because I had Josh Dobbs and Hawkinson. But on Monday, for example, there's a 50% chance I can make the playoffs. I had nobody playing. Brett, who I was playing, had 3 players playing, and it wasn't until I believe 2 minutes left between the Titans and who was it? Dolphins, where I think AJ Dillon got a touchdown.
No, DeAndre Hopkins.
And then in that moment, I felt sick to my stomach because I was so excited.
Me too.
And unfortunately, the Dolphins didn't help me out as well.
The play that led to that touchdown was definitely offensive pass interference on Hopkins.
Liam.
Terrible officiating.
Go ahead.
Sport.
Right before that game, was sent a message in our fantasy football chat and said, "Get ready for your funeral, Brett."
Yes, and it was definitely mine
to lose, and it was awesome.
And it sucked because throughout the game there was it started like leaning in my favor, like 80% chance to win, 70% chance to win, and then just in those final moments of that football game, they put the sword to me.
It was historic.
And like Liam, there was a few, I don't know if you're paying attention, but there's a few situations in those final minutes where it would have changed the playoff picture in fantasy football league.
There's one truth story about fantasy sports that somebody told me once, and it's
real.
Nobody cares more about your roster
than you.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
I appreciate it.
I understand that
it was very funny though.
Yeah,
it was
100%.
A lot of smack and finished second last. And the only person who finished below him was Maddie, our marketing person, and she didn't set her lineup ever.
Until this game, I'm facing her in this toilet bowl. So all I'm going to say, my attention is my focus is shifting to fantasy hockey. So Dan, be careful. I understand you're at the top, but now that I've shifted my attention, you will go down.
What position are you in that league?
I'm 2-7, but
second last. Second last. Second last.
Where were the Oilers? Where were the Oilers?
Thanks,
Huh?
Waz.
Exactly.
Worst.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Waz is the
Worst.
fantasy football.
Well, this is very specific to myself. I'm a big food guy. I like cooking. I like watching cooking shows. I do not like baking. All through December, all the cooking shows go to baking. There is no more of the good stuff. I can't sit there and watch anything get made properly. No, it's all baking. It's all stupid festive shit. I don't care about your fucking stupid ass tree. Give me back to the steak. Give me back to the potatoes. Give me back to the things that I can do at home. I don't give a shit about your damn baking goods. Please take it off the television. Also, it happens around Halloween and Thanksgiving. So I actually have to go 3 months without watching my shows. And I don't like it.
Tell us how you really feel.
That escalated quickly.
I feel better.
Waz, when you clip that, can you put Rick's face over Martha Stewart's body, please?
Talk your shit, King.
Yeah, that was not what I was expecting you to say, Rick. I must
incredible.
Yeah, I didn't know you're. I didn't know you're a Food Network guy.
Well, we'll go right back to you, Rick. Who's your hot performer of the week? Is it the goodies that you're making?
I don't like goodies. It goes to the NHL.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Why? Because what they did with the skills competition, I think, is actually fantastic.
Yeah,
I think it's going to drive a lot more player effort involved. And I think when you put these guys up against each other doing all the same drills, you're going to start to see a lot of competition within themselves. And I think it's going to take that whole day or a weekend or whatever. I don't know what you're going to do about the game now, because the game's going to get overshown by the skills comp. It's going to take it to a different level. And I think it's going to be incredible to watch.
It's getting hot in here. So hot.
Yeah, it's a shame that the worst part about the All-Star
game is
going to be the
but
game.
I still enjoy the game. The 3-on-3, I still like that. But yeah, maybe change it up a bit to get some a little more.
And the fact it's a draft too will be.
It's what?
It's a draft. They're doing it like a player draft.
Yeah, that's cool. People like that stuff. It's personally, I really don't care about that. I think they should do sticks in the middle. I think that goes back to the origins of hockey. That takes it back to pond hockey. That's what I think they should do, but I'm cool with this. It's great for TV. They can sell it. They can make money off it. It's cool to watch.
You know who had a hot week, a really awesome week? I'm going to give a big shout out to Easton Otting, the Zamboni kid, whose family came down here to Edmonton for a few games. I think a lot. His dad mentioned in our DMs, like, oh, I was here for the Tampa game. So it was just awesome to see his Zamboni get signed by the entire team. He got to meet McDavid. He spent some time with the Stelters. And I don't know, it was just awesome to see that kid's world basically just light up. And he kind of was almost a star for the week. So shout out Easton Otting.
He's a hot guy. He's a hot guy.
I'll give him 2. That was good to see.
That was good.
Kennedy?
This kind of goes back to the other question about like what cool moment you've seen in person. But my best friend Gina introduced me to this app called Memento, and you basically put in all the sporting events you've ever been to, and it literally catalogs them for you. Oh. You can add your own pictures. It tells you how many venues you've been to, how many games you've been to, how many hours you've spent in each building. It divides up how many teams you've seen in total. So like I've been to 87 Oilers games. I've seen the Knights 7 times. I've seen Dallas 7 times.
You've been to 87 Oilers games?
Yeah.
Those rookie numbers.
All right.
So and then you can do your own little like ticket, and you can add your own little photo to it. So I've been playing with it, and it's really cool. So I got to add the rest of my sporting events into it. But yeah, we'll show it to that cool app.
Dan?
That's a great app. Actually, I want to download that afterwards.
We're so far into our going to the game career. How the hell are you going to go back and remember all that shit?
I have a spreadsheet for myself.
Yeah, I used to. How does it cover junior hockey as well? Because I lived in Halifax for a little bit.
There's a whole bunch of stuff.
Are you from Halifax?
You can follow each other on it too, so we can follow each other.
His obsession with Halifax is ridiculous.
I lived there one time. It was.
Didn't know that.
My hot performer of the week is going to go to Stuart Skinner. Comes out after the game, speaks to the media after having a 7-game winning streak broken, completely owns it. I love it. I love that kind of human being element from these players. We are clamoring for this from these guys, but also Stu, stop doing it. No, don't give us any more information like this. Stop giving us your feelings about it, because all it's going to do is going to get thrown back in your face. So I love it. I love to see it.
It's so natural for him. Like, I've seen it in real life. It's incredible kind of a human being this guy is.
I love it, and I love to see it, but I also just think we need to stop being given this stuff, because that real, honest human emotion is going to keep getting used against you. So yeah, hot performer of the week though, Stuart Skinner, for everything he did for the winning streak, and now for coming out and just owning it. Hopefully it propels you to great things.
I don't know what this button is, so we're going to find out.
Put some respect on my name.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's perfect timing.
So
I'm sorry?
It says Birdman.
That's because Birdman is the one that says,
put some respect.
Put some respect on my name.
Here he is again.
Put some respect on my name.
My hot performer of the week. Where will I go with this one? I not really thought about it too much. I did have one in my head just then. Oh, I'll just give it to I give it to the Sherwood Crusaders. We have 5. The other day, the team had 9 players out of the lineup, and they won both games on the weekend. They won one like 8-2, I think, and the other one 7-3. So shout out to those boys for showing up.
That's a lot of work for the other. So that's a lot of work for the other 8, 9 dudes.
So like 17 people on the bench kind of thing, or 15?
We had affiliates.
Looked like an 11 p.m. beer league game.
Yeah, hey.
So we had 5 players away with the World Junior A. And then we just had a bunch of injuries. And then so we had 9 players. I think it was just maybe the one game we had 9. Next night we had 8. But shout out to the players who are showing up on that one.
I guess you could say that's a good crew.
That is a good crew. Thanks, Waz. Here you go.
Woo! Friday, baby. Yeah, let's celebrate Friday. Woo!
No.
Not a high five. Not
There
high
you have
five
it,
worthy.
folks.
That was just good.
No.
Waz, you don't celebrate. You celebrate like you've been there before, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Calm down, buddy.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll be back on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
In it. We'll see you then.
In it.
Have a good weekend.